There are corners of our planet where the earth seems to breathe differently, where the wind hums old melodies, where the horizons stretch wider than imagination, and where the stories of the land feel older than time itself. One such place lies in the northern reaches of Europe, wrapped in mist, carved by mountains, guarded by ancient stones, and softened by sweeping green valleys. This is the land at the edge of the winds, a country whose spirit drifts between legend and reality. It is a land where mornings arrive slowly, unfolding with the rhythm of the clouds. The first light creeps across rugged cliffs, spills over moors drenched in dew, and climbs the worn walls of villages older than many nations. In these early hours, the land feels untouched, as if nature has paused to let the earth remember its own heartbeat. The forests whisper, the sea murmurs against rocky shores, and even the silence seems alive. Yet the spirit of this land is not found only in its scenery. It lives in the grit of its people. Generations have shaped these lands, survived its winters, defended its traditions, and carried its stories from the age of wandering tribes to modern cities glowing with innovation. Every valley has a tale, every river a name with ancient roots, every village a legend that refuses to fade. The culture here was not written overnight. It was carved slowly, like the shape of mountains sculpted by centuries of rain and wind. Travelers often describe their first arrival as stepping into a living tapestry woven from threads of mystery, nature, rebellion, and creativity. The farther one journeys, the more the country reveals. A vast network of islands scattered like emeralds across the sea, towering highlands stretching toward the clouds, villages perched on hillsides as though guarding the memories of ancestors, hidden glens that glow golden at dusk, and lakes, deep and dark, where myths have lived for generations. But the land is not merely beautiful. It holds contradictions that give it depth. The climate is harsh, yet the landscapes feel delicate. The winters are cold, yet the people radiate warmth. The history is filled with battles, yet the culture is overflowing with music, laughter, and creativity. Strength and softness coexist here in a way found in few places on earth. The people of this land walk with a certain steadiness, a quiet resilience shaped by a long history of struggle and triumph. They have inherited the fiery spirit of their ancestors, the cleverness of storytellers, the determination of warriors, and the curiosity of explorers. Their humor is sharp, their hospitality sincere, and their pride unmistakable. They are bound by traditions that stretch back centuries, yet embrace modernity with open arms. To understand this country is to understand its relationship with the natural world. Nature is not simply a backdrop. It is a character, a force, a companion in every chapter of its story. Here, storms roll across the sea with a dramatic flair that makes even the sky seem restless. Mountains jut out like the spines of ancient creatures. Rivers race wildly through deep gorges, carving stories into the earth. Villages cling to coastlines battered by restless tides, and through it all, the people have learned to dance with the rhythm of the elements rather than resist them. Legends cling to the landscapes like morning mist. It is said that mythical beasts roam secluded lakes, that ancient warriors still wander lonely glens, that enchanted stones hum with old magic. These stories are more than imagination. They are expressions of how deeply the people here feel connected to their land. The myths serve as reminders that even in a scientific age, mystery still has a place. But the land is not stuck in the past. Modern cities rise confidently amidst centuries-old stone. Universities produce brilliant minds who shape global industries. Technology hubs grow beside medieval streets. Music festivals fill historic plazas. Museums preserve the old, while laboratories create the new. It is a rare balance honoring heritage without being held captive by it. As night reaches this land, its character changes once again. Lights flicker inside stone cottages, laughter spills from pub doorways, and the scent of warm food drifts along narrow streets. The sky darkens until the stars shimmer like silver pins above the highlands. On some nights, the northern lights appear, sweeping across the sky in waves of green and purple, reminding all who witness them that this world is still filled with wonders beyond reason. For travelers, this country offers more than a destination. It offers a feeling, an immersion into a world where history breathes, culture sings, and landscapes overwhelm the senses. It is a place that invites reflection, curiosity, and awe, a place where every step feels like walking through a story that began long before us and will continue long after. In this documentary, we will journey across this remarkable country not through borrowed words, but through a fresh lens. We will explore its origins, its people, its customs, its innovations, and its enduring spirit. We will step into its cities bright with modern life, wander its valleys steeped in legend, and meet the cultures shaping its identity. We will uncover how this land became a beacon of creativity, resilience, and natural beauty. The journey begins here, at the edge of the winds, where the past whispers, the present thrives, and the future glows softly on the horizon. Every nation has a beginning, but few begin with as much mystery, myth, and raw, natural force as this land. To understand its people, its culture, and its identity, we must first understand the soil beneath its feet, soil shaped by fire, ice, storms, and time itself. This chapter explores how the very bones of the earth carved the foundations of a civilization whose stories still echo across mountains and coastlines. The making of the land. Long before people arrived, the region was sculpted by titanic geological forces. Ancient volcanic eruptions once shook the ground, pushing molten rock upward into spikes that would become the rugged mountains we see today. Towering basalt cliffs, strange rock formations, and dramatic ridges are relics of this fiery past. Later, during the Ice Age, colossal glaciers swept across the land like slow, unstoppable beasts. They carved deep valleys, scooped out dark lakes, and smoothed some hills while sharpening others into jagged silhouettes. When the ice finally retreated, they left behind a landscape so uniquely dramatic that it feels almost mythic. The result was a world of stark contrasts. Towering mountains rising from gentle plains, quiet lochs lying beneath cliffs, forests wrapping around ancient stone, and thousands of islands dotting the sea like scattered jewels. It was a land ready to inspire legends, and legends arrived. The first peoples and the dawn of storytelling. When early settlers appeared thousands of years ago, they found not an empty wilderness, but a paradise wrapped in mystery. These early communities lived close to nature, hunting, fishing, farming, and raising families in the shadow of stone monuments whose original purposes we may never fully understand. Across the countryside, ancient stone circles and burial mounds still stand. Their creators left no written explanation, only silent markers of belief, ritual, and cosmic wonder. These stones were aligned with the stars, the solstices, and the turning of the seasons. To the early people, the land was alive, connected to the heavens and ruled by unseen forces. These early tribes passed down stories orally. Every tale, every warning, every history was learned by heart and recited around fires. In this world of harsh winters and breathtaking landscapes, imagination and survival were intertwined. Stories became guides, entertainment, and education. Over time, they became the legends still whispered today. Legends that shaped a people. What sets this land apart is how deeply myth seeped into daily life. Creatures of the water, guardians of the hills, and spirits of the forests filled the imaginations of generations. While modern science explains the natural world, the old stories persist not because people still believe them, but because they form a cultural heartbeat. The water spirits. Dark, deep lakes, many bottomless, some mysterious, gave rise to tales of creatures lurking beneath the surface. These legends warned children to stay away from the dangerous waters, but they also symbolized the mysteries of nature. Stories described shape-shifting water spirits, horse-like beasts that lured travelers into the depths, and serpentine creatures hiding in northern lakes. These legends grew because the lakes themselves felt alive still, silent, impossibly deep, and shrouded in mist. The mountain guardians. In the highlands, where the air thins and the mountains stand like ancient kings, tales grew of spirits guarding the peaks. These stories reflected the fear and respect people had for the dangerously unpredictable weather of the mountains where storms could swallow a traveler in minutes. Warriors, heroes, and ghosts of the past. As tribes grew into clans, and clans into societies, heroes emerged. Leaders, warriors, hunters, thinkers. Their deeds were woven into epic tales. Some stories honored real people, whose acts became legendary. Others were fictional heroes, created to embody courage, justice, or sacrifice. Even today, you can hear echoes of these myths in cultural festivals, songs, symbols, and the pride of the people. The rise of the clans. Over centuries, tribes evolved into clans, family-based communities bound by loyalty, shared ancestry, and land. Each clan had its own territory, leader, traditions, and often its own patterns, symbols, and war cries. They lived independently, sometimes peacefully, sometimes in conflict, but always with fierce loyalty to their own strength, through unity and rivalry. Clans built fortresses on hilltops, established villages, and operated with a sense of community that defined social life. They protected their land passionately, and in times of threat, clans united under common banners. In times of peace, they traded, celebrated, and married among each other. In times of conflict, they fought for honor, resources, or old grudges. Clans created a strong social fabric, one that survives symbolically even today. The First Kingdoms. By the early medieval period, various tribes and clans began merging into larger kingdoms. These kingdoms grew, shifted, and sometimes clashed with neighboring powers. Leaders rose who could unite vast regions through diplomacy, battle, or sheer determination. This was the beginning of a national identity, a sense that multiple peoples could share one homeland, one culture, and one destiny. Yet, it was also a period marked by invasions, raids, and struggles for power. Coastal villages braced against attacks from sea raiders. Highland settlements fortified themselves against rival kingdoms, but instead of weakening the land, these challenges forged a tough, resilient people. The cultural weaving of a nation. Across centuries, the region absorbed influences from Europe, Norse settlers, neighboring nations, and waves of migration. But instead of losing itself, the land forged these influences into its own identity. Its language evolved into multiple branches, some surviving, some nearly lost, some revived with pride in recent generations. Its customs blended old tribal practices with modern European influences. Its traditions adapted to new eras while keeping the soul of the old ways intact. From these threads, clans, myths, landscapes, battles, migrations, and evolving cultures, the national identity began to solidify. A land that refused to be forgotten. Despite wars, hardships, and political shifts, the people maintained their connection to their origins. Their songs remembered the past. Their dances carried ancient rhythms. Their stories preserved the memory of ancestors. Their clothing, symbols, and celebrations echoed old clan heritage. Even as centuries passed, the land remained a constant teacher. The mountains taught resilience. The lakes taught mystery. The storms taught humility. The soil taught loyalty. This deep, almost spiritual connection to nature is why people here speak of the land as if it were a living companion, one that shapes character, inspires creativity, and binds communities together. Why origins matter. To understand modern life in this land, its inventions, cities, humor, struggles, and accomplishments, you must understand that everything grows from its origins. A people shaped by storms will value perseverance. A culture carved by mountains will learn independence. A nation born from clans will honor community. A society raised among myths will never lose imagination. To understand a nation, one must walk among its people, not just through its landscapes or its monuments. A country is shaped not only by its mountains and cities, but by the hearts that beat within it. In this section, we explore the unique character, habits, humor, and daily rhythms that define the people of this northern land, from ancient traditions to the modern era. A people forged by weather and resilience. It is often joked that wherever the weather is harsh, the people grow warm. This rings especially true here. Life in a land of storms, long winters, and unpredictable skies taught generations to value community, humor, and endurance. Over the centuries, the people developed a spirited resilience, one that reflects both the toughness of their environment and the tenderness of their culture. They are known to endure rain with a smile, wind with a shrug, and cold with a laugh. To them, weather isn't an obstacle, it's simply part of life. Children learn early that rain means puddles to jump in. Adults accept that dampness is a daily companion, and elders embrace storms as old acquaintances. But their relationship with weather goes deeper than practicality. The constantly shifting skies have shaped their identity. Sunshine is treated like a blessing, fog like an old friend, and storms like a reminder of nature's power. This emotional relationship with nature influences everything from poetry to music to humor. Warmth beneath a tough exterior. To outsiders, the people here may appear reserved at first glance, polite, quiet, maybe even shy. But beneath that layer lies a deep well of friendliness, loyalty, and generosity. Once a traveler gains the trust of locals, doors open, stories flow, and warmth fills the air like a hearth fire. They value sincerity. Pretension is frowned upon. Arrogance is unwelcome. But honesty delivered with a bit of wit is always appreciated. People speak directly, yet kindly. Compliments are understated, jokes are over-delivered, and kindness is genuine, not performed. This warmth expresses itself in simple ways. A stranger being offered directions before asking. Locals striking up conversations in small shops. Travelers being invited into homes during holidays. A shared meal turning into an unexpected celebration. The people do not wear their hearts openly, but they carry them close and offer them freely when trust is built. The famous humor. Sharp, clever, and unexpected. Humor is a defining trait here. It has kept spirits high during centuries of struggle and weathered storms of all kinds, political, social, and literal. The humor is unique, dry, sharp, often self-deprecating, and always delivered with perfect timing. This land's people use laughter the way others use shields, deflecting hardship with wit and turning difficulties into punchlines. A simple conversation can become a playful battle of jokes. Even serious topics may be softened with humor, making conversations more comfortable and grounded. A typical example: when the weather is terrible, perfect day for a picnic then. When life gets difficult, could be worse, could be raining inside. When success happens, miracle, that is, write it down before it disappears. Their humor is not cruel, it's communal, uniting people through shared experience and shared laughter. Hospitality that is quiet, but deep. Hospitality here is never flamboyant. It does not rely on grand displays or exaggerated gestures. Instead, it appears in thoughtful silence, in small acts of care, and in personal touches that make travelers feel unexpectedly at home. Visitors may find a hot drink placed in their hands without asking, a local sharing stories of the town, neighbors checking if newcomers need anything, families welcoming strangers during holidays. Hospitality is woven into the everyday fabric of life. People look out for one another, not because it is expected, but because community is valued, music in the blood. If there is one thing that captures the spirit of the people, it is music. It flows through their festivals, their gatherings, their history, and their emotions. Traditional instruments, passed through generations, still echo through villages and city squares. Music here is more than entertainment. It is memory, identity, and celebration. There are lively dances filled with stomping feet and twirling steps, often performed in groups that bring entire communities together. There are slow, melancholic melodies played softly on stringed instruments, echoing the sorrows and triumphs of centuries past. And there are modern sounds, blending old rhythms with new styles, creating a musical culture both ancient and evolving. The love of storytelling. Stories are the lifeblood of this people. From ancient legends told around fires to modern novels read in cozy cafes, storytelling is a cherished art. Tales are shared everywhere. In pubs under dim lights, in festivals that celebrate ancient myths, in family gatherings where children listen wide-eyed, in schools where literature is valued deeply. The people here believe stories connect generations, preserve history, and spark imagination. It is no surprise that many great writers, poets, and thinkers emerged from this soil. A nation of readers and thinkers. Books are beloved companions in this land. Libraries are busy, bookshops are plentiful, and literature festivals are common. Children are introduced early to reading. Adults carry novels on trains and buses. Elders share classics with grandchildren. This intellectual curiosity has shaped a culture that values education, learning, and critical thinking. Universities here are renowned not just for excellence, but for the passion of their faculty and the drive of their students. Education is seen not as a burden, but as a gateway, a chance to explore, innovate, and contribute to the world. Food, a blend of tradition and modern taste. The cuisine of the land reflects its history and its environment. Born from practicality, shaped by necessity, and transformed by creativity, the food here is hearty, flavorful, and comforting. Traditional dishes often feature meats, grains, and root vegetables ingredients that could survive long winters. Over time, these recipes evolved, incorporating global flavors and modern cooking techniques. Today, culinary life includes traditional slow-cooked dishes that warm the soul, fresh seafood from coastal towns, farmers' markets filled with local produce, contemporary restaurants showcasing fusion flavors. Food here is more than nourishment. It is storytelling on a plate, the spirit of celebration. Despite the tough weather and storied history, the people love festivals. They celebrate music, literature, seasons, heritage, and life itself. Festivals are full of dances that shake the ground, lantern-lit processions, street performances, colorful costumes, music that fills entire neighborhoods. Some festivals honor ancient traditions, others celebrate modern creativity. All are vibrant expressions of community and pride. The art of conversation. Conversation in this country is a dance. It moves between humor and sincerity, between quiet reflection and lively banter. People enjoy deep discussions as much as light-hearted jokes. Topics often include weather, always, history, family, books, music, local legends, complaints delivered humorously, dreams and ambitions. Conversation is not rushed. It unfolds naturally, like a story. Modern life. Technology meets tradition. Today, the people navigate a world where ancient traditions coexist with modern advancements. Smartphones sit beside heirloom crafts. High-tech laboratories rise near centuries-old buildings. Many citizens work in technology, engineering, education, healthcare, renewable energy, arts, and media. Yet, despite modern progress, they preserve older ways. craftsmanship, folk music, traditional dances, ancestral symbols, local storytelling. This balance gives the land a unique charm, simultaneously old and new. Identity rooted in pride and humility. Perhaps the most defining trait of these people is the blend of pride and humility. They take pride in their heritage, their landscapes, their resilience, and their achievements. Yet, they carry this pride quietly, without arrogance. They do not boast. They simply live their truth, and their truth speaks loudly on its own. Why the people matter. The true spirit of this land does not lie in its castles, cliffs, or ancient stones. It lives in the people, their humor, their resilience, their creativity, their kindness. Landscapes create beauty, but people create soul. This nation's character is not simply inherited, it is lived every day, in every home, pub, school, street, and festival. Understanding its people is understanding its essence. These origins created a country unlike any other, one grounded in reality, yet colored by legend, one humble yet proud, one small in size, but enormous in spirit. And so our journey continues.